What up? Welcome to mono black control removal. It's finally a thing. I talked about it for the last 2 weeks. So here it is. The commander's Gisa because I'm a basic bitch and I like my Gisa. And also I wanted to try a Droneth list and then it wasn't really working out. I didn't like the list, so I just converted to Gisa. So what is Gisa? What does she do? She's a 5 mana 4/4, ward 2, pay 2 life. Skeleton zombies get +1/+1. Have menace, and whenever you commit a crime, you make 2 tap 2/2 blue and black zombie creature tokens. This ability triggers only once each turn. And just because the zombie tokens are blue and black doesn't mean you can play blue, unfortunately. If you could, that's even more crime. But yeah, this deck, Giza commits crime, also comes in a, 125, which is kind of budget. There's very obvious cards you can cut from the deck to make it cheaper. But yeah, onto the artifacts. You have Arcane Signet because this deck doesn't work without your commander, and yeah, you need to get her out as quickly as possible. She's 5 mana. You want to play every decent mana rock you can, while also, keeping your deck full of other things. Baton of Morale is a great example of a card that fits really, really well in this deck and not in any other deck. You can pay 2 to have target creature gain banning until end of turn. You essentially just do this on an opponent's creature, and it's just pay 2 every turn to give something banding. Each time you do that, you're committing a crime if you're targeting an opponent's creature. And yeah, that just makes zombies. It's a pretty good card. Codex Shredder, 1 mana, tap, commit a crime, mill a card. There's not really a mill theme in the deck, but you can also pay 5, tap it, sack it, and then return a card from your graveyard to your hand, which is just good for if you have a really powerful piece that gets destroyed. Embalmer's Tools, you can tap an untapped zombie to have target player put the top card of his or her library into her graveyard, his or her graveyard. Also, with activated abilities of creatures in your graveyard cost 1 less. I'm pretty sure you can't resolve that in this deck. That's irrelevant, but yeah, the bottom effect is nice because you'll have a bunch of tokens on board and then you can tap them, and whenever you tap one, you make 2 more. Unfortunately, the zombies come untapped with Giza, but that's fine. Ghost Vacuum is in here as a graveyard 8 card. It's a crime, and you can pay 6 and get a bunch of cards out of it, which is cool. Glass of Urza is a 1 mana crime card. Idol of Oblivion is just a draw card because you're pretty much making tokens every turn. The stigma on this is irrelevant. You can also make a big Eldrazi, which I've never seen anybody do. Gem Medallion's in here because you're playing mono black and a lot of your cards are black. Lightning Greaves to protect the waifu. Liquid Metal Coating to commit a crime by making a artifact into a non-artifact into an artifact. If you're playing with a red player, you can also synergize that with some artifact removal that they might have. And then, a little bit of politicking going on. It's cool. Liquid Metal Torque is the same thing, except it also taps for a colorless, which is nice. Relic Barrier is tap, commit a crime. You can also tap pretty good artifacts like Soul Ring and stuff with this. Yeah. So honestly, depending on the power level of the artifacts that your group's playing, this can be a pretty good card. It could also be completely irrelevant. Scrabbling Claws is tap, commit a crime by exiling a card in an opponent's graveyard. Obviously, you can target yourself and you wouldn't be committing a crime, but I don't know why you do that in this deck. I guess if somebody wanted to reanimate one of your cards. But yeah, you could also pay 1, sack it to exile a card from a graveyard, which is also committing a crime still, and you draw a card. So if you don't need this card anymore because you have other ways to commit crimes, you can just get a card draw out of it. It's also 1 mana, which is nice. Soul Ring for fast mana, Swift Foot Boots for the same reason as Lightning Greaves, protect the waifu. Thought Vessel, 2 mana, add a colorless. Unlicensed Hearse, love this card. I can't remember what format, but it's an all-star in 1 format. You can tap it, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard, which is nice. It's graveyard hate, that's committing a crime. And you can also accrue it for 2, and when you do, its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards exiled with it. So if you get this down early and you're just every turn, or every loop, just exiling 2 cards, it's going to be really, really big later on in the game, and someone's going to have to remove it before they just take 30 in the face. Victory Chimes, probably not 30, that'd be 15 turn cycles, but yeah. Victory Chimes is untap this artifact during each other player's untap step, and you can give a player a colorless. This is committing a crime, even though it feels like a gift. You do this at the end of the second main, they don't get any use out of the colorless, and yeah, it's just pure upside for you. On the creatures, Archghoul of Thraben, a lot of zombie support in the deck, and a lot of crime cards similar to the artifacts. This is one of those zombie support cards whenever this creature or another zombie control dies, which is a lot of your deck. Look at the top part of your library. If it's a zombie, you can reveal it, put in your hand. If you don't, you can put it in your graveyard. It's a good way to filter for cards you need. And yeah, just general like good zombie card. Blood Artist is in here because it can commit a crime when you don't even commit a crime. It's awesome. You have this card on board, and let's say player 2 destroys player 3's cards, or like player 3's creature. Oh, a creature dies, you commit a crime. You don't even have to do anything to commit crimes. It's awesome. It's also just a very powerful card. Cemetery Reaper is a zombie lord, and you can also pay 3 tap it to exile a card from a graveyard, committing a crime, and then create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So it makes zombie tokens, it also commits crime, and it's a zombie lord. Oh, I misclicked. Chittering Witch, when it enters, you make 1/1 black rat. This song is loud. You can pay 2, sacrifice this creature, and then target creature, sacrifice a creature. Target creature gets -2/2 until end of turn. This is really good. When you have a bunch of like tab zombies from your commander, you can just pay 2 every turn to give something -2/2 and make 2 more zombies. And you're just constantly adding 1 zombie every turn. You can also, I mean, it's removal. If people are playing small things, you can remove a bunch of cards for a bunch of mana. But yeah, it's a pretty good card in the deck. Forsaken Miner, can't block. It's a 2/2 for 1 though, which is very good in probably some formats, but not great in Commander. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay black if you do return Forsaken Miner from your graveyard to the battlefield. So the deck's all about committing crimes. This is a very solid card. Simple as that. Gem Palm Polluter is a 6 mana 4/3. You never play it, but when you cycle the card for 2 mana, you may have target player lose life equal to the number of zombies on the battlefield. This is 1, committing a crime, and 2, you have like 15 zombies on board. You hit somebody for 15 for 2 mana. Not many cards will hit people for 15 for 2 mana. It's a very good card. Ghoul Caller Gisa's in the deck because you played a waifu, you put the waifu into waifu, you know? No, the real reason you play this is because you can pay a black, tap it, sacrifice what is probably a 3/3 zombie that your commander made that's on the field, and then you make 3 2/2 black zombies. So you're just kind of like multiplying zombies. You're making 1 into 3 every turn cycle. Glorious Resurrector is in here as well, because whenever a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead, which is 1, really good. And 2, at the beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards, exile this Gisa on the battlefield under your control. They gain Decayed, which means if they can't block, when they attack, you sack them. Fortunately, they don't have haste. If they did, this card would be super duper broken. And you can also just keep the cards that you gained on the field. You don't have to attack with them, so it's kind of a way to steal cards and make people lose resources. Non-Zombie is a 2 mana sack a creature. Target player lose 1 life, you gain 1 life. It's the Blood Artist effect for 2 mana, and it's committing a crime by sacking a creature, which is fine. Gravecrawler, same reason you're playing the Miner. You can just cast it from your graveyard constantly. Gary's in here because you're playing mono black. You got a bunch of cards that will give you your devotion, and he's a zombie. Might as well put him in. Headless Rider, whenever it or another non-token zombie dies, which unfortunately doesn't work well with your commander, but works well with pretty much every other creature in the deck, you make a 2/2 black zombie, which is good. Karavek is probably one of the strongest cards in this deck. Whenever you commit a crime, you exile up to 1 target black card from your graveyard, copy it, you may cast a copy. If you do, you lose 2 life, which is whatever. So this can reanimate cards for you, which is really, really nice. Let's say you commit a crime, whatever it may be, like tapping an artifact, you can then cast like a Doomblade from your trash, which is committing a crime, which triggers Karavek again, which lets you cast another thing from your trash. So you can just kind of chain like targeted removal. You can also, yeah, you can just do a lot with this card. This card is very, very good. And it's 2 life and you have to pay full cost on the mana, which pretty balanced. Lord of the Accursed, 3 mana zombie lord. All zombies gain menace. This is good later on in the game when your board is full of zombies and you want to swing for game. Lost Monarch of Ifnir has Afflict 3, which means whenever this creature becomes blocked, defending player loses 3 life. Also gives other zombies Afflict 3. And at the beginning of your second main, if a creature was dealt combat this turn by a zombie, you mill 3, then you can turn a creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Typical zombie effect. This is really good because it kind of like guarantees damage when you do big swings with zombies. If you block it, they take damage. If they don't block it, they take damage. They're probably taking 3 either way unless you have a lord on board. Yeah. Morbid Opportunist in here because there's not that much card draw and I kind of wanted more. And in black, this is just a very solid card draw card. Murderous Rider is a zombie, and it's also a removal spell. So it kind of does both of what you want, and yeah, it's nice. Nadir's Nightblade, whenever non-token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. This is a little bit worse than Mirkwood Bats, I think, but I put it in. I think it's 1 mana cheaper, and I'd rather lower curve in this deck. Let's say you have a bunch of zombies that get board wiped, or you're using your sack effects on your creatures to commit crimes or do whatever. You're also draining opponents, which is nice. Phyrexian Plague Lord is 5 mana. You can sack it to give a creature -4/-4, or you can sack a creature to have target creature get -1/-1. This is like a mini Yawgmoth effect. It's committing a crime for technically free. You're sacrificing a zombie to make 2 zombies. And yeah, unfortunately it's only -1/-1 until end of turn, but still a very strong effect. Plagued Rusalka is 1 black, sack creature, same effect. Yeah, the only difference between these 2 cards is this one's 1 mana, so it's a lot less susceptible to removal, at least in casual pods. Maybe not to like Orcish Bowmasters, but you're not playing this in that pod. Yeah, it's 1 mana, so it's cheap to get out. Shepherd of Rot is 2 mana 1/1, tap it, each player lose 1 life for each zombie in play. You have a lot of zombies, especially if there's another zombie player at your table, you're hitting everybody for like 30. It's wild. This is a sick card. Stronghold Assassin, tap it, sack a creature, destroy target non-black creatures, a Doomblade effect on a sack effect, which means it's repeatable because it's from a creature. It's a pretty alright card. Undead Augur is here to draw you cards when zombies die. Yeah, I think any type of like creature-based card draw like this and Morbid Opportunist, very good. Great value cards. I think the deck should probably be running more, but I'm running a bunch of sorceries that will draw me cards instead. Withered Wretch, 2 mana, pay 1, remove target card in a graveyard from the game. So pay 1, exile a card from a graveyard. This is crime, this is repeatable, and it's not like a tap effect, so you can do it every turn. It only costs 1 mana, so it's cheap. Yahenni's in here because you make a lot of creatures, you're killing a lot of things, so you're playing mono black. So he's going to get big with 1/1 counters, and you can also sack a creature to give it indestructible, which is nice protection. And Yawgmoth's in here because it's one of the best black cards in the game. If you're ignoring, like, I don't know, the super broken tutors and like Dark Ritual, Cabal Coffers things, yeah, this card is very, very solid and goes in a lot of black decks. It's committing a crime, it's drawing a card only for 1 life. Yeah. Onto the enchantments. Attrition. Pay 1, sack creature, destroy target non-black creature. We have this on a card, or on a creature, now we have this on an enchantment. And you don't have to tap it, so you can do it every rotation. It is a very expensive card. I mean, like $120 or whatever. A little unfortunate, but that's fine. There's obviously like a lot of cards that you can swap this out with if you don't want to spend that much. Dauthi Embrace, 2 mana target creature gains shadow until end of turn. This is a crime. This is also a political thing. Let's say an opponent wants to get in for a swing on another opponent. You can bargain, say, hey, I'll pay 2, give your guy shadow. You can swing for a bunch of damage. I make 2/2/2 zombies. In the future, I can use this against you. Yeah, it's a useful card. Nowhere to run because you want to target things, and Hexproof, unfortunately, stops that, as well as ward costs. It's also removal. It's a crime at flash speed. It's a good card. Like, this card is very, very solid. Phyrexian Arena is in here for just constant card draw because you probably need it. On the instance, Bitter Triumph, when you cast a spell, discard a card or pay 3 life. It's just pay 3 life to destroy target creature or planeswalker for 2 mana, which is a crime. Dark Ritual because you want fast mana for your commander. Defile because you're playing 32 swamps. Dismember as a 1 mana -5/-5 crime. Doomblade, 2 mana destroy something. Go for the throat, destroy non-artifact creature. Infernal Grasp, destroy creature, lose 2 life. Tragic Slip, -1/-1. Or if something's died this turn, -13/-13, which with the amount of removal you have is most likely a thing. Withering Torment, destroy target creature enchantment, lose 2 life. These are just all crimes. I'll go to the sorceries first before the lands, just cause. So sorceries, Blasphemous Edict, very easy at 13 cards. Yeah, I think this is a very, very solid card. Damnation's in here again, just a really expensive board wipe. I mean, last week's video as well was like the black board wipes that were being run are very, very weird. But that's because all the decent ones are really, really expensive in black. So Damnation, yeah, just as a 4-mana board wipe. Feed the Swarm as targeted removal. Also, it's enchantments, which is nice. Kindred Dominance, you just name zombie here and destroy everything that isn't a zombie. Again, like pretty expensive. It is 7 mana as well. You could be running like Ingaruk's Wake instead. I believe that's 8 or 9. But it hits everything that isn't your board. This will obviously just hit all non-zombies, which will be like your commander on your side of the board, but that's it. Night's Whisper, 2 mana, draw 2, lose 2. Read the Bones, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2. Simon Blood, draw 2, lose 2. And then yeah, so like that's kind of just the card draw on the deck. I think you could play creatures instead. Onto the lands, I think some of them are pretty cool. You got like a Cursed Duneyard. A lot of them are from the new Aether Drift Precon. I'm not sure if it's actually new cards, but yeah. Pay 2 to regen a zombie. Bajuka Bog, this is also committing a crime. Field of Ruin, committing a crime. Swamps, Tectonic Edge, committing a crime. So yeah, any of the like removal land cards or land destruction cards, lands specifically, are also committing a crime, which is cool. And then put zombie from graveyard on top of library. Let's go to the maybe board cards that you could probably run if you want to. I just don't have them because I kind of like the fit of this deck. Ashnods, if you want a lot of mana. On that note, also Phyrexian Altar, the one that mills people. Sacrifice a creature, mill somebody that many cards. I think it's like a $20 card or something. I'm like, it's crime, but it's kind of expensive. Run it instead of attrition. I don't know. No, I think attrition's way better. Ayara, whenever it or another black creature enters battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. This is good because you're making a lot of zombies. You will just drain the table quickly. I think this is probably a pretty good card. It just, I wanted to spec the deck more to just making a lot of zombies. Blasting Station, 3 mana, tap, sack a creature, deal 1 damage to target creature player, and then whenever a creature comes into play, you can untap Blasting Station. So you tap it, sack a zombie, make 2 zombies, and it untaps. Value. Again, this is a very good card in the deck. It's also pretty expensive, so I didn't really want to put it in. Cabal Rituals here, because I think any type of fast mana you can run. Let's say you have a Mana Vault, I was going to say Jeweled Lotus, Lotus Petal, Mox Diamond, whatever fast mana that you can put in this deck that you can get your hands on, you do just so you can get your commander as quickly as possible. Death Baron, skeletons and zombies get +1/+1, have Death Touch. I think you can run a lot more Lord effects than I run. I don't, because again, I'm committing to crime. But yeah, there's so many good zombie lords that you can run in a deck where you're making 2/2 zombies all the time. It's very easy to just add all the lords. Gravespawn Sovereign, this is a 6 mana. You can tap 5 zombies to put a creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under your control. If the zombies didn't come in tapped from your commander effect, this might actually be playable. Unfortunately, it's a 6 mana 3/3, and it's very, very slow because you need 5 untapped zombies. Like, if your zombies came in on top from your commander, you could do 3 turn cycles, or 3 of your opponent's turn cycles. You'd make 6 untapped zombies, and then you could tap them all to take something from a graveyard. Make 2 more. But unfortunately, you can't. And then Zulashur, it's just a very solid zombie card. You can tap it and cast a zombie card from your graveyard. Let's look at the Rex on Architect. What do we got here? Cabal Coffers. Yeah, you can play Cabal Coffers and Yawgmoth's Tomb or whatever the heck, whatever it's called. I don't know. Yeah, Crypt Gas, making your lands tap for additional black. Obviously, I feel like this is good in every black deck. Unless the ranks at the beginning of your upkeep, you make X 2/2 zombies or X is half the number of zombies. Make a lot of zombies. Very cool. Yeah, there's a lot of very, very strong cards. You can run a lot of sack cards if you want to like get value. Priest Forgotten Gods, Zombie Lords, yeah, Urborg, Altar of Dementia. But yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, I'll be back. I don't know what I'm actually going to be making next week. I'm kind of just like, ooh. I'm just going to look at commanders on EDH and be like, oh, this looks cool. I'll build around this. If you have a commander recommendation, let me know below. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.